Hi, welcome to Smith & Associates Real Estate. I am the CEO and President. My name is Bob Glasser. And today I want to just talk a little bit about the Morean Art Center. Smith & Associates has had the pleasure of supporting the Morean Art Center since our inception into St. Pete. Of course, this is a well over 100-year institution in the arts and also a placemaker in glass. And of course, the glass that Place makes, we love. And not only do we love glass, but we love orange because that's our brand. And so there were many reasons for us to be a longtime supporter, but that is one really good reason. And we believe that through our support of the arts, that we make ourselves such a better community. So many new people moving to the Bay Area really appreciate what the arts have to offer, and both with classes at the Morean and with the glass blowing and clay making and welding and all other kinds of great things that center provides for us. So we really are happy to be a supporter, and we hope to see you at their opening in April.
Making art personally for me feels like I'm connecting with other people in a way that I can't use my words properly. I feel like a lot of us are divided or we don't know each other's cultures or backgrounds, and I feel like my artwork can really relate to other people in terms of culture. These two pieces behind me are an ode to my mother. I'm someone who suffers from mental health issues, OCD, depression, anxiety, and something like that doesn't really speak to the Caribbean or African American culture. And my mother was a real champion of trying to figure out and work with me on my mental health instead of just tossing it to the side that I was sad. So I really appreciate all that she's done for me, and she's kind of like my home base when things get overwhelming for me, because she's always there, and she's decided to put her needs on hold to make sure I feel better. So this piece was to showcase the beauty and the act of stepping, African American stepping, that came from boot dance in South Africa. I covered the bottom of my shoes in charcoal powder, and I did a step routine on the paper, sprayed it with fixative, and then drew people stepping. And I kind of treat each individual as their figures are treated differently in different ways in terms of how I use the charcoal, how I handle the bodies. And yeah, it's just an ode to Black women being very fierce and powerful in their movements. Yeah, so stepping is historically something that came from boot dancing in the mines in South Africa. They weren't allowed to speak to each other, so they had to stomp their feet to communicate. And in and in that process, it kind of came over into America as a form of self-expression, something that's been really picked up by the Divine Nine, Black culture, Black sororities, Black fraternities. And this was my first introduction, was to my sister at her high school step team. And since then, I've always loved stepping and how in control and fierce and powerful each step could be. Right, so the reason I use the charcoal and the way I use the charcoal goes into my exploration of what Blackness is, and trying to find that definition, especially living in America. And I've chosen charcoal because charcoal comes in different variations of black. You have much darker black versus willow charcoal versus divine charcoal versus just powdered charcoal, and they're all considered black, but they all have different levels of intensity. So that again speaks to the idea of like, what does black mean? How do you see it? How do you perceive it? Are we all black? We are all black, but we all have different, not levels, but different perspectives of how that treats ourselves. So that's the reason I used charcoal and all the different ways that I do.